She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
عسلامة ومرحبا بي تفرجوا فينا كلهم. معاكم سيروس ونرجعوا للليتس بلاي ذا ستانلي بارابل. جولي على الحيط اللي حياته على الحيط اللي ستانلي غلب عليا والنغاتور اكثر منه. حسيلو ابارامون البارتي الاولانيه اللي تعيط قبل ما نعمل انتروداكسيون كان عملتها في الفيديو اللي فات. دونك ها حسيلو قول برشا في حسيلو انا في الفيديو نتاعي وبون حسيلو بون وبغيف. موسيقى قصت موسيقى جديدة شنو؟ نغاتور فماش بيزار. والله كنتش نحط البارتي الاخرانيه اللي تو اللي في اول فيديو في اخر الفيديو الاخرى خاطر ما شاف بالي نشوفها غاديك الجو. فرامون ليه نشوفوا هاي.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
ممكن هاي نقاش مبرطع لهنا. ما حد. واو تعاودت البيت ولا انا نستخايل؟ لا نستخايل ديزولي انا نستخايل. لا من غاديك انا هما 27 باب ما تسكرش ورايا شاما يا اخي.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
والله كنتش نحط باش يقول لي رايت انا اول مره مرة ذي نمشي ليفت. باهي قاعد نحاول في قلت فيديو الاخرى ما لقيتش وقت نكمل نحكي. قاعد نحاول فيديو في الليتس بلاي هذايا ما نعملش لي شوا الكل مانيش نكمل الجو 100% باش نخليكم زاد لا بوسيبيتي تلعبوها نتوما. حاسين واي.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
نفس الكلام.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
باهي استنسنا في لي جو كل ديما نتبعوا في الاستوار تبعوا لينيير لنهار تعطاونا الشوا.
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
جابش ننقز حاب ننقز شو باهي طلعنا لفوق فما شايل برا. شوا اوه executive bathroom محصور حل الباب. امشي يوكا في التواليت. اوكي ترى شاي جاي نعمل شاي عارفي سافا.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845.
2845.
Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
طلعت لي صورته 2845 ده 2
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to
8,
input
4,
anything
5.
in the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845. Stanley simply began entering random codes into the keypad, knowing full well the sheer's 2845.
284 قد خايب في المات 2845
Incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
واو
He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
واو واو به سيريو قاعد تبع في الاسواق ما نحبش نتبع الاسواق جو هذه ما نحبش نتبع فيها في الاسواق انا اوه ازاي حاب ننقز بس ايش ما ينقزش اوه down you go ستانلي فاش تعمل ستانلي اوه لودينج بغيتش تحضري في ماينكرافت مرة أخرى ولا جو هذا ديزولي قريب ديزولي سي بون ما تعديش ليتس بلاي
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of
لا انت في موت
Why did he
يسكت
do
خلينا نتكلم
this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
انا كنت في مخي ما عنديش فريدم اوف ويل ما تخافش
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that
Mind
led to
control
the
facility.
control facility.
مش محل بكل بديت تصغر شويه في الفونت if light is on call X 914 immediately باهي نطلب 941 باهي اوكي اوه اها escape مايند كنترول فاسيتي قبل اوكي تسكر على الباب تا 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 اي يمشي واو
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself.
عطيني كرا ولا زوز من هذوك
To
اش
find
خويا
out.
امان انت واش قدرتني كرا كرزة اللي عارفه ستانلي كاميرا حب نقرا اش مكتوب ما نجمش نزوم يزح
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
شبيدك احمر وينو 427 ووب اوكي شو ذا اسانسير
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe
Fired.
it couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
نو احب نخرج يب لا
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control?
No!
It was unthinkable.
Wasn't
it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? Here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
لحظة كنسول ديزيبل كيفاش لحظة كيفاش مايند كنترول مش قادر في مايند كنترول انا قادر في واحد يعمل في سيرفيونس على الجماعة نتاعو illegally بون في بالي داري ميز باش يمشي من هنا يا ماما ها به زح والله على الحيط الجو والله اما شو وريك معناها كل شويه نجم تقلب الجو قلبه تو كي مثلا قاعد نتبع في سيناريو بلوز او موا بريديفيني اما قبل جوست نحكيو على الشوا 5 بالترتيب ننزل عليهم باهي شم في الوسط شم الداخل Mind control idle. Awaiting input. ستانلي يا خي. ستانلي حيتك حمو.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
ننزل هكا ولا؟ نعرش. زعما نجي في الاخر نخرب ها.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control?
Yes. Control.
I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. Until detonation then, let's say 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. This is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Try to make sense of everything and take back the control rescue from you. It's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better.
تيسكت كيفاش نقطع
Only 34 seconds left. I'm
تيسكت
enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not?
ايه عايش
These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley?
Huh?
Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you
Hey!
just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen
This guy-
to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room.
كان عجبك
Colored buttons. No, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button. Or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this
خاطرني في جو
can be beaten? One?
Yes.
Sold? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley.
يسكت
You're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm
Oh,
going to
putain,
destroy
الوقت.
it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle.
Oh,
30
putain.
seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here. Just you being blown to pieces. Will you
Putain.
cling desperately to your frail life?
التروا
Or
ويني
you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't.
Goodbye.
It's all the same to me. All a part of the joke.
لا
And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of
لا.
this inevitable life from the moment we fade
لا.
until the moment I say happily ever up.
لا ميت لا What the fuck What the fuck شو الجو هذي والله تورتير مونتال هذي مش يح بقيش نلعب من الاول تو ليه عاد برا نتربحك انا غاتور ناقص مسكين حيته حمو اوكي وش مات قيش نيو جيم ما عادش عارف انا اسمع ما عادش عارف
All
حتى
the
شيء
stay workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps
امشي برك،
somebody
امشي.
missed the memo.
باه اسكت
When
اليوم الشوا
Stanley came
متاعك
to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
بداية ما نسمع كلامك لحظة هار ليفت حب ليفت هاوكا ليفت هار هل نمشي العارفي اعطوني نمشي العارفي ها شوفوا كي
Yet
تحب
there was not a
توصل
single
تيسكت
person here either.
shut the
Feeling
fuck
a
up
wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
يا اخويا
Coming to a
نمشي
staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his
اي
boss's
طلعت
office.
فوق هاي بار باه
Stepping
فور
into his manager's office, Stanley was
2845.
once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk.
كان عجبك بلع فمك
Anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music.
يا اديني خراك تو انا ماشي نزرب معناها في البيت والله انا تربحك تحل بيب تحل مسروب
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
كنت نجم نتيح غادي زعما باهي خويا باهي برا اسمع كلامك خويا نغاتور ما كومبيتير انا نلعب تلعب بيا لهنا صح الخويا والله صح عليك تعرف الكونسيبت كله ذكرني نعرفش شكون جا قبل لا مش جا ولا العظمه لا اسكو جا قبل اسكو هذه الفيديو لحظه مش قبيله قال كلام وقت انا هابط في الاسانسور قال كلام قبيله نذكر توا لا بغيف ذكرتني بالكونسيبت نتاع الفيديو نتاع اسمه يا ربي اوكي فيديو نتاع ايفل ناريتور نتاع فيلثي فرانك نحاول نحطه في الديسكريبسيون كما نسيتوش وانا قاعد نعمل في المونتاج بغيف هذه نفس البلاصه
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
اقعد غادي بالحرام اللي مشيتها.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
بون نجم نخمم اللي انا في وسط جو
The door behind
فيديو.
him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
زعما هادي تخوف فيا كذاب ما تسمعش كلامك تخوف فيا بغيف قلت في جو فيديو دونك يموت هكا ولا هكا مش يصير لي انا ستانلي حياتك حموم هكا ولا هكا
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
باهي وريني وين الديث نتاعي Where's my death تحت الموت هنا موت مات قيش مات ايا وي ها واو هالف لايف 2 وليت
Word into motion, and Stanley was inched closer and closer. It reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story. He's forever in his narrow vision of what this world is.
Oh putain.
Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brilliant shadow life. Farewell, Stanley.
لا ها
Farewell, Stanley, cried
Huh?
the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In
Oh.
a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing
Hide.
him instantly.
به على الأقل ها على الأقل ما اوكي
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
نفعليه هنا مهبول تو دخلني في حيط ناقص كان
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making
Yep.
life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
هذوما لي شوا معناه لاحظ هذوما لي شوا هذه مثلا office layout. This blueprint shows the office from the beginning of the game. The path from Stanley's office is the two-door was the first part of the game that was built. Section has been added and altered through the development, though the core layout remains almost identical to the first iteration. Nature paintings. Stanley's computer. Okay. Filling cabinets. Office computers. كان يلعب في شنو هذا؟ باه. دونك هذوما اللي واو. A selection of sounds used through the game when buttons are pressed. Each sound is a mix of a keyboard stroke and a synthesized tone. باه. Credits كملت الجو. وينو ستانلي؟ كيفن بايتنج نكرك. بون نحبك اما نكرك اما نحبك. خير The office. Maintenance room. War zone. ما خاطليش هذا. دونك سبويل ما نمشي غادي. Green light. Narrator emails. After the second trailer we sent out, we asked people to email the narrator for questions. While we had initially planned to use these in further promotional material, we never found the perfect use for them. Here are the selection of those emails. Wow. فما. Were you born with a magnificent voice, or did you bargain with a magician to receive it? And finally, خليكم تقراوا ذيك يلعبوا الجو. What the fuck is that? What the fuck? Game design mock-up. بون هذه البارتي الثانية. هذاك اسانسور. وين شو فات الجو؟ Stanley's office. Apparemment كملت الجو. مانيش سير. The apartment timer. Meeting room. Okay. ذوما لي ماب. لا. one option, two options vent. الزحت تقول عندي الماب ديتاي نتاع الميكينج اوف تاع الجو. فوالا. باش كليك عليهم. Zending levers. هذوما كلهم ما عرضونيش. كملت سي بون هنا. اوكي. Trailers. We ran 4 major teasers trailers over the course of the game development, each meant to convey something about the spirit of the game. This is the first one, released in May 2012. It features a series of broken rooms and the voice of the narrator informing viewers that he is preparing a new scenario of the Stanley Parable. Oh. Okay. The game is now paused. المنيو ذاك اللي هو هذا. So أنا وحلت. نعم طب. قيش هذوما الكريديت سايو في الجو. لا. شام هنا. جاي. The office. بون نشوف هنا قشي حاجة. The hourglass. The hourglass. The clock. شنو؟ لا ولا narration outtakes.
See how it's impossible for the player to do anything in this room. Perfect example of poor level design.
ليه يسكت؟
It's the kind of thing you pick up on a
يا برك. Okay. Exit.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Turn it off. C'est bon? كملوا التقربيعة اللي كنا فيها. Turn it off.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another?
Yep.
No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice.
Okay.
Do choose it. Don't let
انزل quit. نزل quit. غشتني. بون انا طلعت شويه ليبيزود خاطر مش بالي ديال الفان تاع الجو، طلعت مش الفان ابارامون ما نعرفش. حاسيلو خليكم ليبيزود هذايا ونشوفوا كيف فما ليبيزود اخر المره الجايه. توت فاسون تعرفوا في التيتر نتاع ليبيزود اذا كان هذايا اللي الاخرانيه ولا لا. هاي تشاو تشاو.